Hello everyone, what's up? Welcome back to another video. And today we're going to do something which is quite interesting. I'm going to be going through all 20 Premier League clubs for this upcoming season. And I am going to be just saying my favourite transfer rumour for every club. So, it's not... I've had a look at the list of some rumoured players to sign for every club. Not heavy set on rumours, just some rumours which have came up in the past few weeks. And I've just picked my favourite one, and I'm basing this on what I think the squad needs. How good is it for the club? How good is it for the player who's coming over potentially? And this is quite interesting because it's good to focus on the transfer window at the moment, because apart from this Club World Cup, we haven't got any actual football being played at the moment. I'll probably do a little bit more on the Club World Cup as the tournament progresses, but for now we're going to do this. I might do maybe some more transfer stuff, and then sooner than later we'll be at the time where I can do all my predictions for all the tables and everything. So lots of exciting stuff coming up on the channel. If you're excited as I am for this video, make sure you like, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you never miss an upload. And now let's get into it. Okay, so let's just go alphabetical order through all the teams, and we'll start up top with Arsenal. And as you'd expect, I've picked a striker, and I've gone with Ollie Watkins. Just over some of those other options, you have like Victor Gyökeres is one who's popped up for a few of these teams, and Hugo Ekitike, is that how he says that? I don't know. He's also been rumoured with like the big Premier League teams as well. But I've gone with Watkins for Arsenal because, he has quite a bit of Premier League experience, quite a few seasons in the top flights now. And look at his stats. He scored 16 goals in the league last season, 8 assists. That is really good for a striker. And it is what Arsenal need, really, a proper striker who's going to give them goals, which is really what they need to properly go on to get a title at last, after 3 seasons in second. And then we move on to Aston Villa. And I've actually gone, looking at all the rumours, I've picked Atakan Karazor from Stuttgart. So, not the obvious choice probably, but I've gone with him because defensive midfielder, definitely a good place for Villa to, look at bringing in players. I've got a pretty good midfield, but I do think a player like this could be really beneficial for Villa this season. He won the DFB Pokal, so he's got silverware this season, and 6 goal contributions in 32 games. A regular starter for a Bundesliga top flight club. Pretty good. And then we move on to Bournemouth, and I've gone with a player who I think would be a really good pick for Bournemouth, but Mark Guehi. Really good that they're rumoured with him, and it'd be interesting to see if he would go to Bournemouth, or would he want to stay with Palace or bigger things, because he is probably one of England's best centre-backs at the moment, definitely probably be in that squad for the World Cup, and if he could be in if Bournemouth could get him, he would be so good to really back up that defence. So I've picked him because I think he would be really solid. And then Brentford, a team who lots of people are saying out of these 17 currently established Premier League teams, probably the most likely to go down, some are saying. Not so sure. I think it's between them and Wolves, really. out of the teams who, been here for a few seasons. And a move that I've picked as their best one to go for out of their rumours is Gustavo Haim, actually, who's slightly rumoured with them, but I'm not going to, serious. Let's look at players of a bit of a rumour. And obviously from Sheffield United, Championship Player of the Season. I really enjoyed watching him last year. What a great player he was for Sheffield United. He's going to want to move to the Premier League, being as he's not getting there with Sheffield United. I just think a team like Brentford, who could be in a bit of trouble next season, could be a really good move for him. So next we have Brighton, and we all know Brighton, their picks are so random, the players they manage to bring in, and they do really well. Obviously, great profit for buying less known players at low prices and selling them on for higher stuff. And looking through quite random rumours, really, I've spotted Arseny Batahov of Trabzonspor, Ukrainian centre-back, and he's currently in their under-21 team playing in the Euros, under-21 Euros at the moment, and it looks like he's doing all right in that, so definitely a player who I could see coming to Brighton. He's playing on a bit of an international stage, obviously not senior squad, but still some international football. And I just think it's a bit of a Brighton transfer. I could definitely see him going on to big stuff if he signs for them. Then a team who are going to want to really fight to stay up, Burnley. And I've gone with Laum Chalna from Lazio. Bit of an interesting one. They haven't got too many rumours compared to some of these teams, especially those relegation fighting ones. And I just think he's got a really good potential, only 21. He's got what's his stats? Don't know his stats. Sorry. He played 24 games this season, so got top flight experience for a 21-year-old, not too bad. So yeah, basically, just think he might be decent forward as well. Definitely attacking is what Burnley need to focus on, probably. And then we go to a much bigger team with much more of a presence in the transfer window. That's Chelsea. I almost said the name of the player I'm about to say, who is Nico Williams. He is such a good player with such a high potential. With respect to Bilbao, I really think he's too good for them. I think he needs to move on to bigger stuff. And Chelsea is a team who there's a little bit of a rumour with. He's probably going to Barca, but I thought I'd put him in for Chelsea because I really like him as a player. He'd work really well in Chelsea. And yeah, I think he'd be great, basically, because they're going to need some fresh legs, especially after this Club World Cup, to be really crucial, especially at the start of next season. And finally, for this clip, I've gone with, I'm going to say Palace and Maxima Steve of Burnley. So, would be annoying for Burnley, but losing one of their most prominent players last season. But I really think this will be a great defender for Palace next season. Still not sure if they're going to have Europe. Let's hope they do. And he could be really good for that. Showed so much promise in the Championship last year in that ridiculously good Burnley defence. And Burnley will really want him to stay because he was a big part of what got them up, and probably could be a big part of what could keep them up. So they'll want him to stay, but I think he should go to Palace. I think that could be really good for him playing in Europe. Now, Everton. I've gone for an interesting transfer. Also, I think would benefit the player here, Jack Grealish of Man City. So, much more well-known player than maybe some of these I might be mentioning for teams, especially around the mid-table. But he's still 29. He's got more football to play, and I think this could be a really good place for him to kick on. Everton, I think they're looking on the up. Europe might be a bit of a stretch next season, but still could, I think they'll be comfortable in mid-table. Maybe have a look at Conference League places as well. You never know. Definitely in the next couple of years. They've got a new stadium, lots more money probably coming into the club, and Jack Grealish is a great pick for them. Yeah, I just really think that it never took off with him at Man City. Such a shame. And I really think him at Everton could be really good and to watch. Anyways, Christian Norgard I've gone for to Fulham. Yeah, interesting one. Not too many rumours with Fulham, but I've gone with this one because he's a really solid player for Brentford, and he won't have to travel far. Probably won't have to move house. He's just a solid player. Very reliable defensive midfielder, which is a really good place for Fulham to work on. And I think he could help because I really see Fulham fighting for Europe actually next year. And then Michael Keane, I've gone with for Leeds. So a bit of an interesting one, this. I've gone with it because a team like Leeds have just been promoted. They've got real load of transfer rumours, and I think these are all great. But out of them, I picked on Michael Keane, 32, bit older, bit more experience. He's played Premier League football. He knows what this league's all about, and this is what they need to stay up. And when they do stay up, and become part of that 17, I guess, that's when they start to build and really establish themselves as a Premier League club. But for this season, the focus for all three promoted teams is to stay up, basically, get some experience and then build on that. And I think Leeds definitely have the best shot at staying up out of the three. Burnley, maybe, I definitely think they'll fight. Sunderland could be a bit more tricky. But Michael Keane for Leeds would be really good for them. And then Liverpool, obviously big. Look, obviously that team doesn't need too much improving, but I've gone with Milos Kerkez of Bournemouth to Liverpool. And I've gone with him because I just feel that maybe getting in another fullback, they've just lost Trent on the right side, could be a really good idea. Kerkez, one of the best left backs in the Premier League last year. He was just so strong. I just said Robinson in my team of the year. I just found his goal contributions a bit better. But yeah, he could be really good. And this is a really likely transfer as well, compared to some of the ones I've said on there. Now, Man City's up next, and I've gone for a player who I definitely think should be a bit more appreciated and a bit more high up on the European stage, based on his potential, and that's Xavi Simons. Really was the next big thing. He spent time at RB Leipzig recently and doing really well for them. So yeah, he's just really good player. 10 goals, 7 assists this season in the Bundesliga, pretty good. And I definitely think he can play on the wing. I think that could be really good for Man City next year. And I think, again, suiting the player, a Premier League move, I'd love to see him play in the Premier League. I think he probably likes to come over. And then Man U, I've actually picked Brian and Buemo. So from Brentford, a reason, like his departure, a reason why people believe that they may not stay up. He just has, he just so crucial for Brentford, and you've really seen it this season. 20 goals, that's amazing. He's gonna fit really well if he does go to Man U, looking quite likely as well. And I think something like this is what they need to have a successful transfer window and start to pick up a bit more, because 15th is not where one of the biggest football clubs in the world is supposed to be. And then I have Newcastle, and Newcastle probably going to lose Isak, maybe, who was the best striker in the Premier League. And I've got a good replacement for them, a player I know very well, Joao Pedro from Brighton. Obviously, I've watched him for Brighton, and I'd quite like to see it, but I know him mainly for his days at Watford. He is a really promising player, and he needs a big move. He deserves Champions League football, I'd say. So crucial for Brighton recently. Yeah, I just really think maybe over some of the transfers, bitter bias, but I just love to see him playing Champions League football, having that patch on his shirt. And then Forest, they've Conference League, maybe Europa League, we'll see what happens. And I think the player they should bring in is Alexis Sailmakers from Roma. Yeah, he's, again, Forest have had a bit of a weird season. I'm not too sure how it's going to go next season for them. I think they'll dip down a bit. They just got figured out, really. And it's not, it's led to this. Conference League will definitely help them. They'll get more money from that. Better than no European competition at all. But really, they should be in the Champions League. I feel if they'd had a stronger end to the season. But Sailmakers, you're a really good winger in there. He's played for Belgium. He's been in Belgium squads. He's, Roma, pretty big team, pretty successful. He played in Europe. So yeah, I definitely think he could be a good fit. And now we move to Sunderland, and they're going to bring in a player from Forest with them, in my opinion. That's Harry Toffolo from Forest. Again, he's played in the Premier League, and out of the transfer rumours I look at, you've got a few younger players in there, and I just think right now for those three promoted teams, do not focus on those young prospects. I think you need players who played for Premier League teams, and Harry Toffolo has done that. Not only 4 matches last season he played, but 23 in the 23-24 season. You get the idea. He's played Premier League football, and that's what you need for a team such as Sunderland. And he's a left back, so he would be replacing one of their strongest players, of Dennis Kirkin. But that's what you need. You need that experience weighs up with the potential and flair of those younger players. And then we go to our last Big Six team. Obviously, Big Six teams have lots of transfer hype around them. And Tottenham, awful season. And then also good season. Very weird, having Champions League football, but finishing 1 from relegation. Very odd season, but New Horizons have got Thomas Frank now, and as much as I think Ange was a pretty good manager, won them a trophy, I think that maybe it was alright. decision for him to go. You know, you have to look at both sides of it, don't you? And yeah, they were right about don't base it on one match. So yeah, you get the idea, and I get why they've done it. But yeah, Thomas Frank will be great for them. And if they bring in Jared Branthwaite, this could be really big for them. A really promising centre-back, played for Everton, and definitely do a big move like this to a big club, playing in Champions League. And yeah, he definitely needs that. He's, again, one of England's brightest centre-backs right now. His ability to defend and on the ball is so good. Yeah, I definitely think he deserves a move like this. Then West Ham, not the best season, but meh, 14th. I guess it's okay. But they will want to fight for Europe again after a very busy transfer window last summer. And CJ Egan-Riley is a player who I saw was linked with West Ham a bit. And the other big part of Burnley's promotion campaign, really, along with Steve in that back line. And, you know, West Ham, they weren't very good defensively last year. Look around the teams in the table, they've got a bit more in terms of goals conceded. And I think a player like CJ Egan-Riley, who everyone knows is pretty good at defending, could be really strong for them. And then finally, Wolverhampton Wanderers, Wolves, and a team who definitely could go down. And what they need is a player who can come in and kind of replace Cunha a bit, because he was a big part of them last season. Without him, and with maybe more competitive sides coming up, they could find themselves in trouble. So Harvey Elliott, I think, out of their rumours, could be a really strong player. I think he could really ease the team and keep them safe from relegation. And that's my video. There are my 20 players. What did you think? Let me know. Who did you think could be big signings for all 20 Premier League clubs? And that was a bit of fun. Really enjoyed that. So yeah, pretty interesting. And please also let me know some video suggestions, because I haven't got as many ideas with it being the international break. But no, in the next few weeks, we'll get more transfer news, which I could talk about. We'll get, like, when we're near enough to the start of the season, and lots of transfers have been done, lots of business, all that, I will do my predictions. I'll probably do the same as last year: League 2, League 1, Championship, Premier League, listers. Also Champions League, but that's a bit different. Starts a bit later. And yeah, I'll just make sure that everyone's done lots of business, so I'm doing a fair official predictions video. But as I said at the start of the video, like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, all of that stuff. And one thing left to say: bye and peace.